Welcome to The One Inside, an internal family systems podcast. I'm your host, Tammy Sollenberger. I'm excited that you and all of your parts have taken time to be with me and all of my parts. If you are a coach, a client, a therapist, if you are in business or education, and you're curious about the IFS model, you are in the right place. Now, let's see what happens on today's podcast. Good morning.
Good morning.
How many kids do you have?
I have three.
Three? How old are they?
So I have a 21-year-old daughter who's in college, and an 18-year-old son who has special needs, and a 16-year-old daughter who's a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds busy.
Yeah. How about you?
I just have one. He's 9. He's in
Ooh,
3rd grade.
that's a fun age.
Yeah, he's super fun. Except for I think I treat him and talk about him like he's 3. And sometimes, and it doesn't bother me until someone points it out, or I see, which I don't see this anymore because of quarantine, but I see him with his peers,
Yeah.
and I sometimes think he acts young, maybe, like, I don't, and I think that because I treat him that way, maybe, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. He's your only baby.
I know. I think that's a huge part of it is I'm
Yeah.
older and it's hard to get him. So yeah.
Yeah. I get that for sure.
Yeah.
I've just found out about all your podcasts, and I've been listening to them just in the past couple weeks, and have been loving them.
Great. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. I'm so glad. How did you hear about them? I think that's the thing for me is I don't want to be too obnoxious with like marketing, but I do need to do some marketing to like let people know that they're here. You know, if they don't want to listen, that's fine. But like it's just letting people know about them.
I think I heard about them on the I think I know Derek Scott, so I've heard him I think talk about it. And then I think I also have heard different people on the boards.
Great. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just listened, Chris, I'm really good friends with Chris, and I just listened to the one that you guys did last night. It was really great.
He's so great. So you live in North Carolina.
I do.
Do you live close to Chris?
No, he used to live in Charlotte, and then he moved up to Asheville. So
do you live in Charlotte? Is that where you live?
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte. Yeah.
So I like to start, even though we're doing this sort of a quickie one, I do want to start with just orienting everyone to where you are. So if you were to look out a window, what do you see when you look out your nearest window?
Yeah, so I see beautiful green trees in my backyard that are starting to bloom and spread pollen everywhere, which are making my eyes water. But that's my view. Is just I have a great backyard. It's full of lots of green trees. We had a tornado come through about a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, and just destroy our front yard and some of the trees in our backyard, and the pollen. So that was a pretty major ordeal.
It's really scary.
It was really scary. I mean, it literally came through our backyard and just plowed through our neighborhood.
Were you guys like in the basement or in between a doorway or whatever you're supposed to do? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Happened in the middle of the day, and our poor dog was in the backyard when it happened. And thankfully we have a deck that she can run under, but she was traumatized for sure.
Aww.
And it won't leave my side now. So she's like either with me or my daughter, constantly ever since that happened. But some of our trees survived, so those are the ones I get to still look at, which is great.
You're like half glass full. I'm still focusing on the ones that are still here.
That's right. That's right.
Love it. So you're popping on to talk about this really cool thing you've got going on for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, Parenting Lunch and Learn series. And, I just really, so parenting is my passion. I've just kind of grown into loving doing it. And it's the primary thing that I do in my work now. And I'm actually in the process of writing a book as well on applying parenting to IFS.
I'm clapping. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Oh, that's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Which I'm
Awesome.
super excited about because it's not for clinicians. It's really just for the average,
Great. Yep.
parent. So you don't have to know the model. It's just, but it's a way to be able to use the resources of the model. And that's kind of what this Lunch and Learn series is about, is really just, with everything that's going on right now, all the craziness of just really being able to provide people with some support and some strategies, because parents do the best they know how. They do the best they can. And if you didn't get those, the kind of nurturing and connection that you want to give your own kids, it's hard to know exactly how to give it to them. The first week of the Lunch and Learn series will be focused on intentional versus reactive parenting and how to become a self-led parent. And it starts this Thursday, which is May 14th, and it will be from 12 Eastern time until 1:30. So we'll spend the first 50 minutes to an hour with me doing a teaching piece and giving you some strategies and techniques. And then the last 30 to 40 minutes taking questions and allowing people to kind of say, this is specifically my challenge, and kind of provide support and talk through,
Awesome.
any questions they have.
And
then
this is for all parents. This is not for
all
people that
parents.
know IFS or people
That's
that,
right.
awesome. Great.
It's for all parents.
Great.
And
Okay.
then the second week is going to be on befriending your parts, so that you can welcome and befriend your child and their parts, which, I think is so important for us to begin to understand what gets triggered in us, so that we can work with our own parts. That's, what a lot of my work is in my practice, is helping parents really connect with what's getting triggered for them, so that they're able to be more present and self-led and connect with their children, which then in turn helps their children, be able to connect with their inner resources and, be
I
more
think that's one thing
cooperative.
that's so helpful for me as a parent is recognizing that parts of my son trigger parts of me who then like it doesn't help when I'm in my 13-year-old and I'm like
Totally.
sometimes I think that my husband is like looks at me and my son or even talks to me and my son like, all right, you guys settle down. Like we're the
Right.
like I'm the
Right.
13-year-old and he's the 9-year-old. And that
Right.
doesn't help anything.
Right. It's like two kids quarreling. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And we all do that, like
Yeah.
we all get into that place. And the other piece is that we get, one of the things that I specifically remember with my oldest daughter is she had a situation with a friend that really betrayed and hurt her, that was very similar to a situation I had in high school. And so I had to really work with my parts not to try to redeem my wounded parts through killing her friend,
Yes,
and giving
yes.
her a piece of my mind. But I
Yeah.
had to deal with my own parts so that I could be present for my daughter. And really, it was so healing, because it helped me heal those parts in me that I forgot about that situation,
Wow.
until this came up with my daughter. And then through that process, I was able to heal my little high school kid who had been so hurt,
Yeah.
while also holding space for her,
Well,
and
that's so good too about like the reactivity is like if I notice myself being reactive, then that is probably a part of me.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just learning how to have that parts detector,
Yeah.
as a parent, for sure.
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And
And then,
then the third week, yeah.
yeah, the third week, we'll be talking about the 5 P's of parenting. So presence, patience, persistence, perspective, and playfulness. And these are the 5 P's in the model that Dick talks about as qualities for the therapists. And as I started looking at those, I was like, these are the 5 P's for parenting too.
Yeah.
Like
That's
these are
great.
totally
Yeah. I've never
applicable.
thought
So
about it that way before, but I
yeah,
love that.
yeah, yeah. So really kind of breaking those down and talking about what those mean and what they look like. And then week 4 is going to be talking about the connection. So it's titled, It's All in the Connection, Gaining Your Child's Cooperation, Increasing Their Confidence and Self-Esteem. So really just learning how to connect with your kiddo in a way that empowers them. And really, right now too, everybody's struggling with, how do I get my kid to listen? How do I get my kid to cooperate? And, that's kind of, there are some great tips and tools and strategies and techniques that we'll talk about in terms of, how to first connect with yourself, because you can't be connected with your kiddo if you're not connected with yourself. And then how to, some strategies of how to meet your kids where they are, and help them so that you will get cooperation, right?
That's
So
great.
none of us get cooperation from our kids through shaming and blaming and criticizing, and, and that doesn't help their self-esteem. So, and I don't think any of us want to do that, but if we were raised in a family that's how we were parented, then that oftentimes just becomes kind of a knee-jerk reaction. So, which goes back to the first week, which is really all about intentional parenting and trying not to be reactive in your
I was just thinking
interactions.
that. I was thinking that, right, we want to jump to the fourth week, right? I want him to be cooperative and I want a connection with him,
Right.
but I'm not sometimes doing the work of being in self and doing weeks 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We want to put the cart before the horse sometimes. So, because we want the resolution, we want things to go well. And, parenting, I mean, when I really sit and think about the extraordinary level of responsibility and meaning in parenting, like, it's your legacy, right? And it's you're teaching someone to go and be in the world as a productive adult human being, and the values and morals and beliefs that you have, are things that, of course, you want to impart on your child, but also giving them the chance to explore their own beliefs. And so when you think about just how huge a job that is, and the responsibility that comes along with it, like we should all have to go through classes to become parents, in my opinion. Like it's just such a huge responsibility. And then when you like in my case, when you have a special needs child thrown in the mix, it's a whole nother level of, life and parenting and understanding. And so
And meeting those P's even more, meeting
totally
that playfulness and patience and
persistence and all of that. Yeah. And we all need a village, I'm such a believer in the sisterhood of motherhood, and parents need a village. So I remember when my oldest daughter was in preschool, and I would go onto the playground and all these moms were like, gossipy and talking. And I would just stand there and think, gosh, if we could all come together and just love each other and be supportive, there's so much power in that, And so it took me a while, because when I moved here, she was 3. It took me a while to find my tribe of moms, but, moms can be really, it's kind of that mean girl thing. They can be really mean and judgmental with each other. And we need to build a tribe and a community.
Well, I wonder how much of that is that, 13, 16, 17-year-old parts of us that come out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't want to go back there.
Oh, no, you couldn't pay me $1 million.
No. Oh
No,
my gosh.
absolutely not. Yeah.
I agree, though. And I think when I had my son, we don't live around family. And I feel like one of the first things I did was find this like mommy baby group. And I met with
Yep.
these women, and they were amazing,
Mm-hmm.
smart, incredible women. And we met every Wednesday morning until they were 3.
That's
And
right.
and I still love them so much.
Yeah.
And and my tribe has changed a little bit, but I still have women that are moms that, man, the
Yeah.
thing I love about it too is there's no shame, right? So I can say like, here's the terrible thing that happened today, or here's the terrible thing I
Right.
did today.
That's
And
right.
they'll tell me the terrible thing they did today, and we'll laugh
That's
and we'll
right.
hug and love each, well, we're not hugging now, but
Right.
right, we just love on each other in whatever way
Pre-COVID.
that looks like. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes a huge
Absolutely.
difference.
And to be able to have a friend that you can pick up the phone and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm the worst mom in the world," and I just did, like
Yeah,
you
I'm not
need
trying to be
that.
I'm not trying to
Right.
show off that I'm something and they're not either. And well,
Right.
that's what it sounds like these groups could really do is coming together and being a village and talking
Totally.
the same language and then saying, here's the thing I'm struggling with, and have
Hmm.
that be heard and felt and held
That's
without
right.
shame. And everyone else is going to be probably going to be like, yeah, me too. And that just feels so good. And we just
Yeah.
need to be that for each other right now.
Absolutely, especially right now,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everybody's so isolated and you can't go to
Yeah.
those mommy and me play groups right now,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
so we need to find a way to connect. And I'm just, yeah, I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to be able to share, what I've learned along the way, and also just from, IFS and the tools that it brings in parenting. It felt like the final piece of the puzzle clicked in for me when I,
mm.
came across IFS about 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, I'm excited too because I feel like there's these places where IFS has been kind of getting into. I can't think of the word, kind of getting into. And I love,
Interjected,
yeah,
injected. Yeah.
interjected, or I was thinking of an I word like
Yeah.
inner something. And I'll think of it like in 5 hours. But
Yeah, sure.
yeah, and I love it needs to be in parenting. And one thing I feel really strongly about is we got to get it out of the IFS community. Like we got to get it into the regular old people that are
That's
struggling
right.
and working hard. And you know what? That's part of the reason why I want to do this podcast. It's not just for people that know about IFS. It's about for moms struggling. That
That's
was the
right.
original purpose was like these moms that I'm hanging out with, these are smart, amazing people. They don't have the time or money to either go to therapy or to go do these
Hmm.
trainings, but they listen to podcasts. So let's get this amazing information
Yeah.
about self that they have and our parts, and let's get it to them. So
Absolutely. I love what you're doing, and I think it's just such a great thing to offer the world. Yeah.
yeah.
So great.
Well, I'm super excited just to get to know you and talk to you again.
Yeah, me
And
too.
because I feel really strongly about like, yeah, let's help the parents out there. And if we have this awesome message with IFS, like, let's get that into parents' hands. So this is
Absolutely.
great. How do people find out about, or how do they sign up about these for these workshops?
Yeah, so the best way to do it is to go to the IFS website, because if I gave you the URL, it's really long and
Okay.
complicated. So if you go to the IFS website, under the section where I think they're talking about, webinars that are going on right now, there's a registration link, and you'll
Great.
see the little picture for Lunch and Learn. And again, it starts this Thursday, May 14th
Great.
at 12 o'clock Eastern time, and then it'll run for the next consecutive 3 Thursdays. So it's a total of 4 weeks.
Great. And if people
Yeah.
want to find out about you and contact you and hear more about when your book gets out to the world, how can they do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So my email address is Leslie, Leslie, at the Stone Center. So THE, Stone Center, NC, as in North Carolina.com.
Great. And I'll put both of those links in the show notes. And that's great.
Great.
Great. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to say?
Nothing that I can think of. I hope that, yeah, I hope parents will spread the word
Yeah.
and join. And, you know, I know we already have a good number signed up, so I'm really super excited.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So if you're a therapist and you're listening to this, like send this to your patients that are parents. And yeah, if
Totally.
you're a parent, send it to your friends and yeah, let people know
Yeah.
about this. There's so many great resources out there right now. So
Right.
let people
And
know
the other
about it.
thing I will say is that for therapists, I've gotten a lot of emails about this, whether it's appropriate for therapists, and they can gain from this as well, even if you're not a parent. If you work with parents, then
Great.
this will definitely be helpful for you as a therapist to kind of
Great.
see and learn some strategies. I've developed some different, what I call a parenting protocol. And I've, developed some other tools that therapists can certainly take and then use with their clients. So.
Oh, I am very excited. IFS loves their protocols.
Yeah.
We have lots of protocols.
Yeah. It's a
Love
little bit
it.
of a different kind of protocol, but
I'm
yeah.
excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks.
Great. Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you. Thanks for meeting today. This was great.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah. I'm really glad we got to connect.
Thanks for hanging out today. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe. And if you really like this episode, share it with a friend and leave a review. You can follow me on Instagram at IFSTammy and join our community on Facebook at the One Inside Podcast. Talk to you next time.